What is going on, everybody? Zyonik here, and in today's video we are going to cover how to build a team when you choose the starter of Venusaur. So today's video will be an in-depth look at building a team around Venusaur, as the Timeless Cup has a great opportunity for us to choose our starter and only one, and then from there teams are going to be completely different based on the starter that you choose. So shout out to Palamon, who created this graph. And thank you so much for all the work that you've put into it. So you guys can find him on Reddit and on Twitter with the links that I'm showing you here. You can also click down below to the links to him to find out all his information and all the stuff that he does, as he's been doing this for every tournament. So thank you so much, Palamon, for this. Now, if you guys are into podcasts, you guys can definitely check out the Competitive Edge podcast, which is hosted by myself and Cody. And this last weekend, we interviewed Palamon and his awesome infographic that we're going to be checking out today. You guys can find this podcast on these different apps, and just look for this image, or you guys can just search for the Competitive Edge. So without further ado, guys, let's get right into this Timeless Cup team building guide. All right, guys, getting right into this Timeless Cup beginner's guide for team building made by Palamon. So again, shout out to him. Thank you so much. Links down to this graphic and to his socials down in the description, so be sure to check him out, guys. So today we're going to talk about the Venusaur team building guide, that first one on the left, as you guys see there. So we're picking Venusaur, and we need to figure out, the graph kind of tells us, but we're going to kind of dive in a little deeper to why. So first picks Venusaur, and it's suggesting a 3/4, so a mud boy or a rock/water. So let's head on over to pvpoke.com, where you guys can check out the rankings for the Timeless Cup. And Venusaur is number 1. So this is why I wanted to start with Venusaur. I think he's definitely heavily favored. I did a tweet the other day asking what you guys would choose, and you guys very heavily favored the grass starter. So taking a look at Venusaur, the moveset you're going to want to run with him will be Vine Whip, Frenzy Plant, and Sludge Bomb. Now, Frenzy Plant is a Community Day move if you guys don't have him. Now, we don't know what Niantic is doing just yet with the December Community Day, but we may see a return of Bulbasaur for Community Day. Fingers crossed for that. If not, definitely look to trade for it, but you're going to want to have Frenzy Plant. You're going to want to have Sludge Bomb. Frenzy Plant's going to be covering those grass-type Pokemon, or the water-type Pokemon, I should say. It's a grass-type move. And then Sludge Bomb is going to be covering the grass-type Pokemon. So Sludge Bomb's going to do great against Pokemon like Meganium. It's going to do great in the mirror. It can also hit Charizard really, really hard. So that's his moveset you want to have. Razor Leaf is not there because if we're picking Venusaur, we're wanting to have it for Frenzy Plant. So if you don't have a Frenzy Plant Venusaur, I would suggest going with a Razor Leaf user that's not Venusaur, so you can get a different starter. But his key matchups, like we said, Meganium, because of Sludge Bomb, he can take him out. Swampert's going to be a big one because of Frenzy Plant. Pokemon like Flygon, Pokemon like Whiscash, he's going to do great against these Pokemon. Things he's going to be weak to: Charizard, all these fires, and ice-type Pokemon. On top of that, Venomoth. So you guys definitely want to watch out for Venomoth. That confusion damage is going to do so much, and he's going to wall him. So we want something to protect Venusaur. So we take a look at his top counters, and with the graphic, it is definitely suggesting a Mud Boy or a Rock Water. So the Mud Boy we are going to go with, where is he at? We're going to go way down. Here we go. Rank 46. And don't let these ranks fool you guys. This is the first cup where a rank 46 is a huge threat. I just want to let you know that, other than Open, Great League. So we're going to choose Quagsire. And personally, I like Quagsire because of Stone Edge Earthquake. It is a no-joke charge move coming at you. It is going to force shields. It is going to apply a lot of pressure. So this is why. Remember, I said Venusaur was weak to Charizard, Venusaur was weak to Venomoth, Venusaur was weak to Ice. So right off the bat, of these five key matchups. Now there's going to be a lot more when we dive in, but Charizard, Dragonair, Venomoth. You're going to see these Pokemon in this cup. Quagsire is going to handle these Pokemon with ease. He's going to apply a lot of pressure. On top of that, he's going to do well against Pokemon like Lapras. So we check out here. Lapras, it's going to be close, but mind you that Stone Edge is going to do a ton of damage. So you got to think about where you're at with energy in the fight. In a straight up mirror, Lapras is barely going to beat you. So what that tells me, these 400 ratings, that tells me 1 IVs, and then tells me energy gain. So if we were to give Quagsire a bit of energy, so let's say a starting energy of, I don't know, 20, and we take a little bit of HP away, so like 155. Let's see where we end up. Well, he starts winning these matchups. So that's where that is. And Stone Edge, just a great move against Lapras. So heading back over to here, some other key matchups Quagsire is going to have for this cup. If we scroll all the way to the bottom, here we go. Now, this is what you got to watch out for. So you have to watch out for Razor Leaf. Quagsire being a mud boy, it's going to be 4 times weak to grass, so Razor Leaf users are going to be a huge threat. I mean, look at that rating. That's just destruction. So you got to watch out for grass. You're going to have to watch out for Banette and Haunter. You're going to have to watch out for Venusaur, obviously. But he's going to do well against a lot of Pokemon, guys. It's a lot of the meta. So purely being weak to grass but having great coverage to everything else is really awesome. So Quagsire is going to be our second pick. All right, so now that we have our second pick, we're going to move into our third pick, and it is suggesting a rock/poison. Or rock water/poison. So what this is you don't want your Quagsire to be the only counter to something that can take out your Venusaur. You want some backup coverage. So with that, we're going to go for the number 4 slot, so a rock water. And what we're going to choose is Lanturn. All right, so our third pick for this team, we're going to go with Lanturn. Lanturn is a fantastic pick when it comes to the Timeless Cup. It's got a great kit: Water Gun, Thunderbolt, Hydro Pump. We don't want to choose Thunder over Thunderbolt because of the energy efficiency. You're going to get more damage per energy with Thunderbolt, so that's the reason why there. And we don't want Charge Beam instead of Water Gun because we have the Water Gun for that coverage of the Fire-type Pokemon to relieve some pressure off of Quagsire being our only counter to that. So as you guys can see, we got great matchups against Charizard, Blaziken, Venomoth, Drapion, and Muck. The Water Gun's going to be putting work into them. Thunderbolt going to be doing great, but we have to watch out for the Grass-type Pokemon. That's pretty obvious. But Lanturn comes with some additional weaknesses, but also some additional coverages compared to Quagsire. So looking at it, he's got a decent rating, 57.3%. Overall isn't amazing, but we're here for coverage. So he's going to do well against the fires. He's going to do well against the rocks and the ice and the ground. He's also going to do against, well, all the other waters as well, Blastoise, because of that Thunderbolt. Remember, he is an electric water type Pokemon. He's going to do well against some of the poisons, the darks, the ghosts. But you need to watch out for a few things. You need to watch out for grass. You need to watch out for some electric, which I don't think we'll see a lot of. And we need to watch out for the Mud Boys. So this is the difference, is because he is in a water electric, he's still going to have that weakness to ground. So Whiscash with Mud Bomb, Poliwhirl with Mud Bomb, Quagsire with Earthquake, Politoed with Earthquake. You're going to want to watch out for that because remember, they're going to have ground type, so they're going to resist the electric type moves, and then they're going to truck a Lanturn. And then on top of that, all the grass, as you see right here, Razor Leaf, just going to be destroying. So now that we've picked 2 coverages to Venusaur, now we need to cover the grass. Grass, as you can tell, is going to be dominant, but the thing is our Venusaur is our best grass pick, so it kind of relieves some pressure there. But now we're going to go in and pick some other coverages. All right, so the next option is grass coverage. We want to protect our Mudboy Quagsire, and we need to protect our Lanturn. So we're choosing between poison and fire. So this is pretty interesting where some of the poisons are going to do really well against the grass poison and grass, whereas the fires are always going to be hurting those grass type Pokemon. So a great poison pick could be Venomoth. If you think a lot of people are going to be going Venusaur, Venomoth is a great counter to that. But for this team, we want to go with a flexible fire pick. So we're going to go with Ninetales. All right, so for our 4th pick, we're going to be choosing a fire type Pokemon, and that is going to be Ninetales. Now, it's not ranked as high as Castform and Torkoal or the other starters, but it brings a great kit. So Ninetales with Fire Spin, Flamethrower, Psyshock. Now, Flamethrower is Legacy, and honestly, I want to kind of change the coverage here. So we're going to go with Psyshock and Solar Beam. Now, Solar Beam is purely there for the Hail Mary against the things that counter Ninetales. It's going to be there for the Mud Boy, it's going to be there for Lanturn, things of that nature. Psyshock is going to cover the grass-type Pokemon that we are likely going to see. So the grass poison. So we're going to be seeing a lot of Venusaurs, a lot of Ivysaurs, and a lot of Victory Bells. So Psyshock is there for that. And if they don't, maybe they have Meganium, we still have Fire Spin. So we can still farm down. So that is why it's just a great kit. Pokemon we're going to be beating, as you see here, key matchups: Venomoth, Venusaur, Muck, Meganium. And we also, with that Fire Spin, going to be covering the Ice-type Pokemon, so a Snowy Castform. But we are going to be weak to those Water Rocks. But the thing is, remember, Solar Beam, if it lands, they're gone. That's just the nature of it. So looking at it here, it's got a 54.7% win rate in the one shield situation. All these simulations are in the one shield. So as you can see, it's handling everything that beat our Mud Boys and our Lanturn. So it's covering all of those grass, and then it's going to be really, really weak to the Water Rocks, as you guys can see here. But remember, Solar Beam, if it lands against these guys, they're gone. Like, Solar Beam will destroy all of these Pokemon. Let's take a look at Omnistar, right? So if we were to actually land a Solar Beam, it would do 230 damage versus an Omnistar. I think that's enough. That's enough to kill it 2 times over. So again, that's why I said getting to a Solar Beam, and you get to it relatively quickly. You know, like, you put up a shield and maybe they don't have a shield. So let's check that out. Let's do this. We're gonna have to shield a little more. There we go. We're gonna have to shield twice because it's a Mud Shot, but still, landing Solar Beam. So you got to think about, this is Fresh Fight. Think about you were just farming down the grass type Pokemon, and then they bring in the Omnistar and they think they're gonna get you, and then you just Solar Beam. 230 damage. That's just so much. So that's why Ninetales is fantastic, and it's a huge threat. Think about, on the flip side, think about you having a water or ground type Pokemon trying to cover Ninetales, and it just farmed, and you only have one shield. And you gotta decide, do I shield this? Is it a shield bait or not? Because Psyshock's gonna be a 45 energy move, so that's a shield bait potential. Solar Beam's gonna be double that. So there's huge play here, which I love. I like putting pressure on the opponent to make a decision. If they choose wrong, then you just ate a Solar Beam to the face. So that's why we're choosing Ninetales in the 4th slot. Alright, so our team's looking pretty good. We have Venusaur, we have Quagsire, we have Lanturn, and we have Ninetales. Now we need to choose Ice and Dragons. These guys are going to be more the meta-dominant Pokemon, especially Lapras and Dragonair. But all of these Ice are very viable. Castform has some awesome play. Frostlass is going to be spammy. Whalerin's going to be doing Body Slam spam, or Celio, I should say, is going to be doing Body Slam slam. Galee is going to have that Ice Shard, Avalanche, Shadow Ball, and then the Dragons are just deadly. I think Dragon Breath is going to be so dominant in this meta, so we may see teams start to form later on with double Dragons, but we'll wait to see how the meta shapes up. But with this graph, we're going to be choosing an Ice and a Dragon. Now, my own team, I have Lapras and I have Dragonair, so I'm going to be going with those. So let's go ahead and dive into Lapras. Alright, so Lapras, rank 7, so not too far behind all of these starters. Now, you can run it a couple different ways, but I would highly suggest, if you guys have Legacy, go with this Legacy. So we're going to want to have Ice Shard. Ice Shard is going to help us farm down things Lapras needs to take out. So Dragonair, grass type Pokemon. As you guys can see, Venusaur, Lapras is a water. It's a water ice, but it beats Venusaur because of Ice Shard. So again, it's going to be beating Charizard, Dragonair. It's going to handle the dragons very well. Now, there's a lot of discussion in the community about the moveset, but honestly, I think Surf is first of all the go-to. Ice Shard, Surf is going to get you really far in this cup. Surf is going to help you chip down away at the dragons, help you chip down at the grass. It's going to be doing super effective to the fires, and it's going to be doing work to those poisons. Now, this is where the other choice comes in. Ice Beam or Skull Bash. So, Ice Beam right? Great coverage to the grass-type Pokemon, great coverage to the dragons, but the thing is there's going to be so many Lapras, and you're going to lose the mirror hard. So we're going to take a look real quick at Lapras versus Lapras. So let's give Lapras Ice Shard, Surf, Skull Bash, right, with Ice Beam. Now if we type in Lapras again, I want you guys to notice what it recommends. It recommends Ice Shard, Surf, Skull Bash in the one shield situation. This is why. Look at how dominant it is. The only chance you have to win is if you shield twice. The other Lapras doesn't shield at all. That's because of Skull Bash. Skull Bash does take a lot of energy, but what it does is it increases your defense when you do it, and it's going to be doing heavy neutral damage. So as you see at the end of this fight, the Lapras still has a ton of health left. So again, that is why I'm going to recommend Ice Shard, Surf, Skull Bash. Ice Shard's still going to give you those great matchups versus the dragons and the grass. Surf is going to give you the great matchups against the fire and the poison and the ground. And then Skull Bash is going to be great in the mirror and great overall in general if you have enough energy. Skull Bash to increase that defense and then maybe bail out. But now Lapras also does come with a lot of weaknesses, particularly Razor Leaf users who aren't taking super effective damage from Ice Shard and Blaziken, and then the electric type Pokemon, but I don't think we'll see a lot of them. So note that Abomasnow, Ludicolo, there's going to be kind of the front runners for Razor Leaf users when it comes to countering a Lapras. Victory Bell is fantastic as well, and then Blaziken is definitely a huge counter. Now the reason why Blaziken is a huge counter is because of counter. You can actually farm down a Lapras. You're going to have to shield the Surf, but you can farm down a Lapras with counter. So as we see here, really awesome win rate, 71.4%. That's with Surf, Skull Bash, and Ice Shard. So let's take a look at what it really loses to. And as we said, Abomasnow, Blaziken, Ludicolo. These are the things you're going to have to watch out for, particularly these two, Blaziken and Ludicolo. Now, there are the other Razor Leaf users here as well, Victory Bell. But the thing is, your Ice Shard is going to be chunking them as well. So there's that to note. But yeah, these are going to be the big counters. But remember, we have our Mud Boys for Blaziken and our Lanturn. And then we have the Ninetales for things of the grass type here. So again, also watch out for Haunter. Haunter is going to sneak up on you, so you're going to have to watch out for him in this cup. But yeah, really great Pokemon here. Going to be doing a lot of work to the meta. Again, you're going to want to have Ice Shard, Surf, and Skull Bash. Now, our final pick, we're going to be choosing one of the dragons, and the dragons have really great options when it comes to coverage, and I think Dragonair covers the most in terms of spammability and moveset coverage. So Dragonair having Dragon Breath, Return, and Aqua Tail is going to do great against the meta. Now you can also run with Dragon Pulse or Wrap instead of Return, but if you can get the Return, I think it's going to be the most ideal moveset, especially as a safe switch potential. So taking a look at Dragonair, we see it's rank 2. It's really good, guys. Dragon Breath, Aqua Tail, Return. You guys could run with Dragon Pulse. That's definitely going to be a more closing move, but you can cover a lot of Pokemon in this meta. So Charizard, Venusaur, Venomoth, Ninetales, Castform, these are just some of the front runners. You are going to be losing hard to those ice type Pokemon, so you're going to have to watch out for Castform, Celio, Ice Fang, Drapion, which you guys will know when it's Ice Fang because it's just going to be exploding in your face with ice. You also want to watch out for Swampert here, but again, that's why we have Venusaur, right? And then that's why we also have Ninetales. So these are great counters for a Dragonair, but we have the backup already to protect it. So taking a look at the meta, this is why it's so strong, guys. Dragon Breath is so strong. 85.4% win rate with the Return Aqua Tail Dragon Breath. Aqua Tail going to be doing work to poisons as neutral damage, going to be doing work to fires, and then the Return is just anything that Aqua Tail won't be doing neutral damage or super effective damage to. It's going to get you out of sticky situations. Return is going to be a great option. So things we need to look out for. If we scroll down. All right. So we need to look out for Castform and Celio. Those are going to definitely be the big ones. Lapras as well. Whiscash with that Blizzard. Swampert we're going to have to watch out for. Hydro Cannon, he can just pump them out so quickly. Drapion with Ice Fang, definitely need to watch out for that. Remember, we have coverages for all of these, right? We have our Venusaur for the waters, and we have our Ninetales already for the Ice-type Pokemon. So this is a great Pokemon for the meta. I mean, it's so good. It's going to be doing so much damage to the meta, and that win rate is no joke, guys. An 85% win rate is huge. You only lose to 18 Pokemon, and you tie to 10. So there's 18 Pokemon in the meta that in a fresh fight one shield situation can beat Dragonair, and we already have the coverage on our team for that, the protection for that. So that's why Dragonair's there. Now if you don't have the return one, remember Team Rocket are still around. They're going to be around for a while, so definitely go out, farm them down, get that not shiny but the purified Dragonair. It's going to save you some Stardust because it is going to be purified. Be sure to give it a return an Aqua Tail and then Dragon Breath to go pew pew against the Timeless Cup meta. So there we have it, guys. We have our Team Venusaur build. We got Venusaur, Quagsire, Ninetales, Lanturn, Lapras, and Dragonair. And if you guys have been playing since the beginning of Season 1, you likely have all of these Pokemon. This team right now, first of all, I need 1 TM on Lapras, and I'm good to go. The rest of my team is already ready. There's no Stardust need to be invested in, and that might be a big pull for you guys when it comes to the teams that you build. Maybe this team you already have ready to go. You can save all that dust because remember, Go Battle League was announced coming out early in 2020, and we have no clue what it's going to be about. So we may need a lot of Stardust. So this is going to be a great way to save on Stardust. There's going to be a lot of team options that you can have, but I really like this team. It's going to put a lot of shield pressure out. Venusaur, Quagsire, huge shield pressure. Ninetales, huge shield pressure. Lapras definitely has some shield pressure in certain situations, but great bulk, great farming. Lanturn gonna be going to town with a fire-type Pokemon with that water gun, gonna provide some great coverage with that Thunderbolt, and then Dragonair, that Dragon Breath, is just gonna be shredding the meta. So it's a really balanced team, really great team. So yeah, again, Palamon, thank you so much for giving us this build guide because it creates awesome teams like this. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I hope you guys found it informative. So be sure to smash that like button, comment down below, and let me know what you think about this Venusaur team building guide. Did it help you guys? Is this something you guys want to see more of? And did you guys like the picks that I had? Personally, I love Quagsire so much. I remember joking about him for the Rainbow Cup that he is sweeper team Quag because the second you get the grass type off of the field or they don't even bring it, Quagsire does so much work with Stone Edge and Earthquake. It's unbelievable. So again, shout out to Palamon. Thank you, man, for making this graphic. It is an unbelievably amazing resource for the community. So again, links down in the description to that. And like always, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.